This is Max and Mia Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Max and Mia Podcast. I'm Max.
And I'm Mia. Thanks for joining us today. How are you doing, Max?
I'm doing great, Mia. And I'm really excited about today's episode because we're talking about something we all experience. Daily routines.
That's right. But not just any routines. We're talking about those special days when everything is new and different. You know, like your first day at university or starting a new job.
Exactly. These are the days when our normal routine goes out the window and we have to create a completely new one. It can be exciting, but also a little scary, right?
Oh, absolutely. I still remember my first day at university. I woke up 3 times during the night because I was so nervous about oversleeping.
That sounds familiar. And speaking of familiar, our listeners know we love to keep things practical here on Max and Mia Podcast.
Right. So today, we're going to walk through 4 different scenarios together. We'll talk about the first day at university, the first day at a new job, and 2 other situations that many of you have probably experienced.
We'll share some useful vocabulary, common expressions, and most importantly, we'll give you phrases you can actually use in real conversations.
Whether you're preparing for one of these situations yourself, or you just want to improve your English, this episode is for you.
So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's topic, daily routines for new beginnings.
Let's get started.
All right, Mia, let's start with the first scenario. Your very first day at university. Can you take us through what a typical routine might look like?
Oh, this brings back so many memories. Okay, so let's imagine it's Sarah and tomorrow is her first day at university. What do you think she does the night before?
Well, I bet she's probably feeling pretty nervous, so she might prepare everything in advance. She probably lays out her clothes, packs her backpack, and maybe even plans her route to campus.
Exactly. So she might say something like, I need to prepare everything tonight so I don't panic in the morning. And speaking of the morning, let's talk about her wake-up routine.
So Sarah's alarm goes off at, let's say, 6:30 a.m. Now, normally she might be the type to hit the snooze button, but not today.
No way. She probably jumps out of bed immediately. She might think to herself, I can't be late on my first day. I need to make a good impression.
That's right. So, what's next in her routine? I'm guessing she takes a shower, gets dressed, and has breakfast. But everything probably takes longer than usual because she's being extra careful.
That's a great point, Max. She might spend more time choosing what to wear, thinking, is this too formal? Too casual? Do I look like a university student?
And breakfast. Some people are too nervous to eat, but I always say, don't skip breakfast, especially on important days. You need energy for your brain.
Absolutely. So Sarah makes herself some toast and coffee, but she's probably checking her phone constantly. Maybe she's reviewing her class schedule or looking at the campus map one more time.
Speaking of getting to campus, this is where things get interesting. She probably leaves home much earlier than necessary because she's worried about getting lost.
Oh yes, she might tell her parents, I'm leaving now. I know it only takes 20 minutes, but I want to arrive early and find my classroom before the lecture starts.
And when she gets to campus, what do you think happens next?
Well, she probably feels a bit overwhelmed. The campus is bigger than she expected, there are students everywhere, and she needs to find the right building. She might ask someone, excuse me, could you help me find the science building?
And here's something interesting. Even though she's nervous, she's probably also excited. She might think, this is it. This is the beginning of my adult life. I'm finally a university student.
Exactly. And when she finally finds her classroom and sits down, she probably looks around at all the other students and realizes something important. Everyone else looks just as nervous as she feels. She's not alone in this experience.
That's such a good point, Mia. The first day at university is scary, but it's also the start of something amazing. And the routine that feels so strange and overwhelming on day one
becomes completely natural after just a few weeks. Great. Now let's move on to our second scenario, the first day at a new job. This one is really important because it happens to almost everyone at some point in their lives.
Absolutely. And I think this situation is even more stressful than the first day at university because there's more pressure. You want to prove that the company made the right decision by hiring you.
Exactly. So let's follow David through his first day at his new office job. Now, the night before, David is probably doing what we call mental preparation. That means he's thinking through everything that might happen.
That's right. Mental preparation is when you imagine different scenarios in your head. David might be thinking, what if I can't find the office? What if I forget my new colleagues' names? What if I don't understand the company's computer system?
And speaking of the computer system, let's explain that for our listeners. In most offices, companies have their own internal software. We call this the company system or internal system. It's basically special computer programs that only that company uses.
Good point, Mia. So David goes to bed early, but he probably has trouble sleeping. He sets multiple alarms because he absolutely cannot be late. In English, we have an expression, better safe than sorry. It means it's better to be extra careful than to risk problems later.
Great example. So the next morning, David's alarm goes off at 6 a.m. He jumps out of bed and starts what we call his professional routine. This is different from his normal routine because he needs to look very professional.
Let's break that down. Professional means appropriate for work or business. So his professional routine includes taking a longer shower, styling his hair more carefully, and choosing business clothes, like a suit, dress shirt, and tie.
And here's something interesting. David probably practices introducing himself in the mirror. He might say, "Hi, I'm David. Nice to meet you. I'm really excited to be part of the team."
That's so true. Many people do this. It's called rehearsing, practicing what you're going to say before you actually say it in real life.
Exactly. Now, David leaves home about 45 minutes early. He wants to arrive at the office 15 minutes before his start time. This shows he's punctual. That means he arrives on time or early, which is very important in professional situations.
When David arrives at the office building, he probably feels intimidated. Intimidated means feeling nervous or scared because something seems bigger or more important than you expected. The building is tall. There are people in expensive suits everywhere, and everyone looks so confident.
But then David takes a deep breath and walks to the reception desk. The receptionist, that's the person who greets visitors and answers phones, smiles and says, "You must be David. Welcome to the company. Let me call your manager."
And this is where David meets his new boss and colleagues. Colleagues are the people you work with. His manager gives him what we call the office tour, a walk around the workplace to show him where everything is.
During the tour, David learns about important places like the break room, where people eat lunch and have coffee, the copy room, where the printer and photocopier are, and the conference room, where meetings happen.
Then comes the really challenging part. David gets his first assignment. An assignment is a task or project that your boss gives you to complete. David might think, "Okay, this is it. Time to show what I can do."
But here's the thing. Most good companies don't expect you to be perfect on your first day. They usually give you simple tasks while you learn the ropes. Learning the ropes means understanding how things work in that specific workplace.
That's such an important point. And by the end of the day, David probably feels exhausted but accomplished. Accomplished means proud of what you've achieved.
Exactly. He survived his first day. and tomorrow will be a little easier.
Now let's talk about something that's becoming more and more common these days. Your first day living in a completely new city or even a new country. This is a huge life change.
Oh, wow. This one is really special because it's not just about one day. It's about starting an entirely new life. Let's follow Maria, who just moved from Mexico to Toronto, Canada.
Great example. So Maria arrives at her new apartment the night before. She's probably feeling what we call culture shock. That's when everything around you feels strange and different because you're in a new cultural environment.
Exactly. Culture shock is completely normal. Maria looks around her empty apartment and thinks, "This is really happening. I'm actually living in Canada now." She probably feels excited but also homesick. Homesick means missing your home and family.
And here's something interesting. Maria's first challenge isn't just emotional, it's practical. She needs to do what we call settling in. That means organizing your new life and taking care of basic necessities.
Right. So on her first morning, Maria wakes up and realizes she has no food in the fridge. She needs to go grocery shopping, but this isn't like shopping back home. She has to find the nearest supermarket, learn how the payment system works, and figure out Canadian brands.
And this is where language barriers might come up. A language barrier is when communication is difficult because people speak different languages or have different accents. Even though Maria speaks English well, the Canadian accent might sound different to her.
Exactly. So Maria gets dressed and ventures out. Ventures out means going outside to explore, usually when you're feeling a bit nervous about it. She walks around her new neighborhood, trying to orient herself.
Orient herself. Great phrase, Mia. That means figuring out where you are and where everything is located. Maria is probably using her phone's GPS constantly and taking mental notes, like, okay, the subway station is 2 blocks that way, or there's a pharmacy on the corner.
And here's something that happens to everyone in this situation. Everything takes longer than expected. Simple tasks like buying groceries or finding the post office become mini adventures because you don't know where anything is.
So true. Maria probably spends 2 hours doing things that would normally take 30 minutes. But you know what? This is part of the adjustment period, the time it takes to get comfortable in your new environment.
And let's talk about the emotional roller coaster. Roller coaster here means experiencing many different emotions quickly. One moment Maria feels proud and independent. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm living in another country.
But then, 5 minutes later, she might feel overwhelmed and lonely. She sees people chatting easily with store clerks, and she thinks, will I ever feel like I belong here?
This is so normal. Maria decides to be proactive. Proactive means taking action to solve problems before they get worse. She makes a list of important places she needs to locate: bank, doctor, community center, or the library.
And here's a beautiful thing that often happens. Maria meets her neighbor, Mrs. Johnson, who notices she's new and offers to help. Mrs. Johnson says, "Are you settling in okay? If you need any recommendations for local services, just knock on my door."
This moment is crucial because it shows Maria that people can be kind and welcoming. She realizes that building a new life takes time, but it's definitely possible.
By the end of her first day, Maria feels exhausted but hopeful. She's accomplished basic tasks, explored her neighborhood, and made her first local connection.
And most importantly, she's learned that adapting to a new place is a gradual process. You don't have to figure everything out on day one.
All right, for our final scenario, let's talk about something really heartwarming. Your first day as a host family. This is when you welcome an international student or exchange student into your home.
Oh, I love this topic. It's such a special experience because you're not just changing your own routine, you're helping someone else start their new adventure. Let's follow the Johnson family as they prepare to welcome Chen, an 18-year-old student from China.
So the night before Chen arrives, the Johnson family is buzzing with excitement and nerves. Buzzing means feeling very excited and active, like there's electricity in the air. Mrs. Johnson is making final preparations in what we call the guest room. That's a bedroom specifically for visitors.
Right. And Mr. Johnson is probably Googling things like Chinese culture do's and don'ts because he wants to be respectful. A do's and don'ts list tells you what you should and shouldn't do in a particular situation.
Meanwhile, their 16-year-old daughter, Emma, is feeling a mix of emotions. She's excited to have an older sister figure, but also nervous about sharing her family space with someone new. This is totally normal. It's called adjustment anxiety.
Exactly. Adjustment anxiety is feeling worried about how changes will affect your normal life. So the next morning, the whole family wakes up early because they're picking up Chen from the airport at 10 a.m.
And here's where it gets interesting. They're all trying to make a good first impression, but they're also feeling the pressure of being cultural ambassadors. A cultural ambassador is someone who represents their country or culture to someone from another culture.
Great point. So they arrive at the airport and wait in the arrivals area. Mrs. Johnson is holding a sign with Chen's name, and everyone is scanning the crowd, trying to spot him. Scanning means looking carefully at everything to find something specific.
Then they see Chen. He looks just as nervous as they feel. There's that awkward but sweet moment where everyone is smiling and bowing slightly, not sure whether to shake hands or hug. We call this cross-cultural politeness, when people from different cultures try to be respectful but aren't sure of the customs.
That's so accurate. So they drive home, and Chen is probably overwhelmed by everything. The landscape, the houses, the cars. The Johnson family is doing what we call gentle commentary, explaining things as they go without overwhelming him with information.
Gentle commentary. I like that phrase. Mrs. Johnson might say, "That's our local high school where Emma goes," or "We'll stop by the grocery store later so you can see what American supermarkets are like."
When they arrive home, there's the big moment, the house tour. This is different from David's office tour because it's more personal. They're showing Chen his room, explaining house rules, and introducing him to their daily routines.
And here's something beautiful that happens. Emma shows Chen how to use the Wi-Fi, the TV remote, and the washing machine. Suddenly, she's not just the youngest family member anymore. She's a helper and guide. This gives her confidence and purpose.
Exactly. Then comes mealtime, their first shared meal together. This is often the most meaningful part of the first day because food brings people together. The Johnson family has prepared what they call comfort food. Simple, familiar dishes that make people feel welcome.
Comfort food is perfect for this situation. They might serve something like grilled chicken, mashed potatoes, and vegetables. Nothing too exotic that might overwhelm Chen's taste buds on his first day.
And during dinner, something magical happens. The initial nervousness starts to fade. They're laughing about pronunciation differences. Chen is showing them photos of his family in China. And everyone realizes they're starting to become an extended family.
By bedtime, everyone feels accomplished. The Johnson family has successfully welcomed their first exchange student, and Chen has found a home away from home. It's the beginning of what could be a life-changing experience for everyone involved.
And the best part? Tomorrow will be even more natural and comfortable.
Wow, Mia. What a journey we've taken today through all these different first day experiences. From Sarah's nervous excitement at university to David's professional challenges at his new job, Maria's adventure in a new country, and the Johnson family's heartwarming experience as hosts.
It really shows how universal these experiences are, doesn't it? No matter where we're from or what language we speak, we all go through these moments of starting something new.
Absolutely. And I hope our listeners noticed something important. In every single scenario, things worked out okay in the end. Yes, there were nerves, challenges, and uncomfortable moments, but that's completely normal.
That's such a great point, Max. Whether you're about to start university, begin a new job, move to a new place, or welcome someone into your home, remember that everyone feels nervous at first. It's part of being human.
And for our listeners who are learning English, these situations are perfect opportunities to practice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes or ask for help. People are usually much more understanding and helpful than we expect.
Exactly. So before we say goodbye, let's quickly remind everyone. If you're facing any of these situations soon, prepare what you can, but don't stress about being perfect. Take it one step at a time.
Great advice. And remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every confident person once felt nervous on their first day.
Well, that's all for today's episode of Max and Mia Podcast. We really hope this has been helpful for you. Whether you're preparing for a big change or just wanted to improve your English, thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Yes, thank you to all our amazing listeners. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, or share the podcast with your friends who are learning English.
And if you have any suggestions for future topics or want to share your own first day stories, we'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, every new beginning is an opportunity for growth.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.